Hi, Soupy.
Hi, Mummy Bear.
This is episode 33 of Good Old Chit-Chats.
Yes.
We talk to Fiona Cumberpatch,
Yep.
who we saw a few weeks ago on Gardener's World 2025.
And had her gorgeous garden full of pots, lots of different plants, lovely black shed in the background.
The orange furniture.
Yep.
Beautifully painted orange chairs and table.
Yeah.
And Fiona's segment was about how she is able to create such a beautiful garden from such a small space.
Yeah.
And the challenges she had in the first instance with
The
clay
ground.
and
rock.
rock basically.
Yeah. It was awful after having building work done.
Yeah.
And then the builder just going, there's nothing here.
There's nothing here, but she's created an absolutely beautiful spot now, hasn't she?
Which she can look out onto through the bifold
Her
doors.
beautiful bifold doors of their new extension.
Yeah.
We hear about cameraman Gary, director Kath, and runner Kate from the Gardener's World team.
Yeah, very interesting.
We talk about gardening magazines versus fashion mags.
Yep.
Fiona's superb ethos of just give it a go when it comes to gardening.
And we also talk about Hügelkultur.
Yeah, how it's useful in not just a pot.
Yep.
She was describing it, but also we got to use it in our veg beds.
Exactly.
And also how to get a kilo of Tumbling Tom tomatoes.
Yes.
And immediately after this podcast with Fiona, she recommends a recipe in this.
Yep.
I'll put a link to it on our website.
Yep.
notjustagarden.co.uk.
Yep.
In it, she mentions this amazing recipe. We immediately went and tried it, and it was absolutely delicious.
It was
a really fantastic tomato
amazing.
and feta recipe.
We've been doing this a few times
We
now.
have,
Each
yeah.
time we've said, okay, give us a recipe, we go and have it that evening.
Yeah, it's been working really well.
It has.
The couple of mentions that Fiona makes, and we just needed to follow up afterwards on what they were.
Okie dokes.
One was the cucumbers. They are called Mini F1.
Oh, yes.
And then the tree feed that she uses is just a general multi-purpose one,
Okay.
or like a shrub feed, whatever you have to hand, she said. And she also does add blood, fish and bone to
Yeah.
her potted trees in early spring.
That's a good one.
And then she replaces the top few centimetres of compost with fresh
Like
compost.
Monty does.
Like Monty does, exactly. As I say, there'll be various links to recommendations that Fiona makes. Find all of that on our website. And we should talk about some of the noises. On the whole, pretty clean, but
that's
there's
good.
a wobbly table, I think, at Fiona's end. and she's tapping it quite a bit in her excitement to tell us about her
dreaded
dream
wobbly
garden.
table.
Yeah. So you'll hear a bit of that, but on the whole, not too bad.
Brilliant. So, of course, the dream garden structure is garden boundary, shed or greenhouse, 5 ornamentals, 5 edibles, 1 statement tree, pond or pool plus 1 plant, and finally, favourite seating area and drink, and 1 plant for that area.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So if you have any questions or any comments about this episode, please do get in contact. You can find our contact page on our website, notjustagarden.co.uk.
Yeah.
Or you can email us at notjustagarden@outlook.com.
Yep. Or if you just want to give us a big thumbs up saying, I love this podcast, or just make us feel happy, it's always nice. You know, that good kind of, I'm with you, bruv.
Dunkirk spirit.
Yeah, thank you very
More's the point that it does help the algorithm if you are able to follow or subscribe to
Yeah.
the podcast. It just helps bump us up to the top of the pile of all the other amazing gardening podcasts that are out there.
Yep.
But I think we should have a look at this episode.
I think so.
So this is episode 33, a good old chit-chat with Fiona Cumberpatch.
Off we go.
Welcome, Fiona, to Good Old Chit-Chat.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's really lovely to see you. You are one of our newer chit-chats because you were on Gardener's World episode 1 of this year.
That's right. Yes. The very first episode on March the 14th.
So how did that come about?
Well, it was interesting. Although I do work as a gardening journalist and writer, it actually wasn't through that route. I had been posting my garden on Instagram for quite a few years, or various gardens that I'd had, but this current one. But it was last May, this time last year, that I made, in just a few random moments, I made a little reel, and it was about the transformation of the garden. It wasn't very polished. I just did it one evening while I was watching TV. And for some reason, that little reel that really sort of showed the dramatic transformation of the courtyard kind of took off. It was one of those that, you know, suddenly from just having a few thousand views, I'd got 350,000.
Wow.
And so I thought, okay, people really like this. So I sort of carried on in that vein for a bit. And then one morning I woke up really early and checked my Instagram messages. And there was a message from a researcher from Gardener's World. And she just said, I've been loving the recent films that you've been making. And we're really interested in featuring your garden. And would you make a little tour video, like an audition, and we will then pitch it to the program editors and see if it's suitable.
Crikey! Wow.
So, but she said, I need it tomorrow morning, and this was
wow,
that's a short amount of time.
This was the afternoon, and
oh my gosh!
And I was leaving very early the next day to go to Leicester to do an interview with a gardener. And so I thought, well, the only time I can do it is if I get up really, really early. So the upshot was 5:30 in the morning. I was beetling around the garden, looking awful, you know, like huge bags under my eyes. Hair.
Yes.
And yeah, exactly. But I chatted to camera. Luckily, I was by now used to chatting to the camera, because the good thing about Instagram, I think, is that you overcome those demons. Like people say, oh, I hate seeing myself and all that kind of thing. You really just have to get over that. And I have got over it. So I was quite happy nattering away about my garden. And obviously the tour didn't take very long because it's only 12 by 5 meters. It took about 2 minutes, but I did the best I could. And I sent it in, and I kind of thought, well, I think that will be the last I'll hear, because it's so small, you know, there wouldn't be enough to talk about. But obviously there was. And I had quite a long talk on the phone with the director, Kath, about an hour and a half. And she went through lots of different angles and ideas. And yes, it all just came together, and the program editors accepted it. And we were then I had 2 weeks to get, about just over 2 weeks to get it all.
Really? This all happened very rapidly,
very
didn't
quickly.
It? So you had 2 weeks to weed the garden.
I think it was about 2 weeks. It may have been a little bit more. I think I was in full all systems go for 2 weeks. Painting the fences, buying gravel, refreshing that, filling in all the gaps, rushed up to the plant nursery, you know, and then you get all the kind of worrying things like, has my Amelanchier tree got mildew? Oh my God, you know, out with the vinegar early morning. My sweet pea tower was very, very tall and beautiful. And I thought, is it going to last? You know, is it going to last for 2 weeks? Will it be blown over in a high wind?
Oh no! Yes.
So I had.
Did you sleep for those 2 weeks? Or you did just from sheer exhaustion?
Major garden anxiety, and I was out there most nights until it was dark. I was watering like a demon. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
and then they arrived with a whole crew.
Yes, they said once it was all cleared, they said they'd need a whole day. They would come at 8:30 in the morning. They would leave at 6. It was
a whole day. Wow,
a whole day.
But you said 8:30. That's a lion.
Yes. Yeah, after that audition tape, and for a 7-minute film, it would take all day. I mean, I suppose I did kind of know that is the time it takes, but it was amazing. So 4 crew, cameraman Gary, director Kath, we had a runner Kate, and there was a freelance sound guy who came over from Cambridge. Yeah, so it was actually quite tricky to fit them all in, because
cram you all in there. Oh, sweet.
Oh, funny.
But I always think it's reassuring that they're there for a whole day, even if it's just a 7-minute segment, because it shows how much they're putting into it, how they're getting things properly set up, getting all the angles.
Absolutely. I mean, they were just amazing. It was very exciting. It was very, very positive. I thought Kath had this boundless energy and enthusiasm. So she made it so easy for me.
Oh, that's lovely, yeah.
She was so impressive. Yeah.
I think that comes out in all of the segments. That's something that has drawn us to Gardener's World and all you guys who are on it, because they draw the best out of people, and there's a wholesomeness to it, but also there's sort of a light feel to it, and they're not trying to get any angles. They're just wanting to put across the best of everybody, and I really like that.
That's right, and just such a huge variety of gardens and gardeners, which I think
massive
is really good,
and all are welcome.
All are welcome. There's not a snobbery about it. And I think they're going that route more, that the smaller gardens are being welcomed in more perhaps than they used to be.
Which is important, because a lot of us have very small gardens.
Absolutely,
And it's more relatable, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
And did you do some editing afterwards in terms of, did you have to send in any voice files or anything like that?
Yes, I did a few little tweaks, but not that many. I think, it went pretty well on the day, actually. I wasn't, I was quite fluent. And as I say, doing these reels and things, you don't realise, but it helps hugely. The umming and the erring and the, you do have to get over it, as you know, from doing what you do. So
we can edit that one out.
Volley, And she asked questions, so I was responding to her questions, and we had gone over it very thoroughly before. There was also the element of my great grandfather.
We loved that. The cine film,
the cine film. So we had some archive material, which I was always going to tell that story and make that link, but it was a bit of a coincidence. My brother and my cousin had digitized the footage very recently, and I still had the memory stick in the envelope, and I just happened to say to Kath, shall I just have a quick look and see if we've actually got him in his greenhouse? This is while they were here. And I there was quite a lot of hours of footage, but I happened to move the dial to the right place, and there was Walter actually watering his plants, and that was quite a lovely moment, really.
It was a nice touch to your segment, I thought.
Yes.
And talking of greenhouses, you've got your teeny tiny greenhouse, which is so immaculate.
Oh, I love that so much.
For all your herbs.
I've got herbs in there, but I've also got cucumbers, miniature peppers, anything that, dill. I've got lettuce in there at the moment. Actually, it's still full of seedlings. So I think I've only got 2 cucumber plants at the moment, and my chilies are still indoors because there's no room, because I do try and grow quite a lot of annuals from seed, and we have a limited number of window ledges inside. So, and also I start them off in the house and then they go into the greenhouse. So it's pretty full. And I also have some aeoniums, which have been overwintering on the bottom of that greenhouse. So they're not out yet. So
where do they go once they're out?
They go in a little cluster in the garden. I love them. I love succulents. I'm not hugely successful with them, but I'm trying to do better, because I do. I love the big black Schwarzkopf, is it? I love those.
Yes.
Yes, the Schwarzkopf. Yeah. They are striking, aren't they?
They're very striking, yes.
Incredible, yeah.
And you're in Peterborough. So aren't you in the area of the UK that's the driest area of the UK? Is that right?
I think I'm in Stamford in Lincolnshire, which is just on the border of Cambridgeshire. We're about 15 miles from Peterborough. It is very dry, very low rainfall. Yes, we're on the border of the fens, where you've got all that agricultural countryside. So there's a lot of growing around here, which means we have wonderful nursery stalls on our local market. We have
brilliant,
where they know me, and they absolutely love the Gardener's World thing. Yeah, they loved it. Yeah, they were very happy about the Gardener's World.
And what's your frost situation?
We do get frosts, but not extreme ones. We're not far north. We're Midland. We're East Midlands, and we are at the top of a slight hill in the town, so we do catch it. I do have to be careful, as I say. My seedlings are still not fully out or planted out yet. I did put a couple of dahlias in last week, but I'm nervous about them.
Yeah.
I'm bubble wrapping them at night sometimes.
Oh, right. Gosh, it's always a worry, isn't it? And you mentioned earlier about you've had previous gardens to this one.
Yeah.
What have your gardens been like? Because this one was such a challenge, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You had all this hardcore and then layers of concrete
and
clay. Right.
old clay pit underneath.
Yeah.
Well, it's I recently did a gardening talk and I showed my previous garden, and it was a large corner plot in a village in the countryside, overlooking fields.
Oh, wow.
With a walnut tree, a tiny little orchard, and I said, well, you're probably going to look at this and think, what the hell was she doing? Going from that to that.
Yes.
It was just one of those situations where we wanted to move into Stamford. It's quite a popular town. We wanted an older property. There aren't many. We'd sold our house after without boring you, lots of ups and downs. We'd finally sold the house in the village, and there just really wasn't that much to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't want to go into rented. So we thought it is very sweet. It's a very sweet little house. It overlooks a park, so it's got a lovely open view at the front.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
I'm just a kind of slightly unrealistic optimist. I always think they'll be okay.
It'll be right.
I can do that.
It's kind of the Aussie attitude. It'll be right.
Yeah. I'll make that into a cottage garden. That'll be lovely. I'll just take the concrete out and we'll make a cottage garden. Didn't think to ask a surveyor or anyone what's underneath that concrete. Didn't occur to me.
No.
So, or my husband, we just thought, yes,
no worries.
All works.
So when you first started digging, your heart must have just absolutely sunk.
Well, we'd gone through this very painful build, which took 7 months to make.
Is this
the
the extension?
Kitchen. Yeah, this is the extension. So that had been delayed because of COVID. So we'd been in a sort of holding pen for 2 years because just as we were about to start, COVID came. All building was sort of cancelled. So I'd been, champing at the bit. So we finally got the building work done, and we'd got these beautiful bifold doors. My husband particularly always wanted to have them.
Yeah.
And as I said on the Garden as Well films, we'd created this view, picture windows, massive, couldn't get any bigger. And there was nothing there except the awful concrete slabs. And so when the builder then said, and there isn't anything under there.
Oh, no.
I was like, I was absolutely speechless. I didn't know what I was going to do.
No. So upsetting.
It was very upsetting. It's sort of like having the rug pulled out under your feet.
Yes, entirely.
And we'd had lots of setbacks, so it was like, oh my goodness, is
Another
this house jinxed? It's shall we just move? But gradually, I started to think, no, I'm not gonna let it beat me.
No.
We'll give it a go, because even if we do sell it, we've got to make it look nicer than this.
Yes.
So let's have a go, see what we can do. And I am in a good position because every week I'm talking to people with amazing gardens for work. So for different various magazines. So I'm listening to how they did what they did. And sometimes, yes, they're country estates, but sometimes they are small urban gardens, or I'm talking to garden designers about their tips and tricks.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah.
So I think I've been sort of storing all this away.
Knowledge upon knowledge.
Yeah.
Wow.
You had a scrapbook in your head.
Yes, I did, definitely.
A little mind Pinterest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I drew this plan. I sat down and I painted and drew a plan of sort of a dream garden. My maths, as you've probably gathered, I have a very hazy grasp of sort of facts and figures and things in terms of numbers. Well, yeah, that kind of anything like that. But I kind of can visualize things quite easily, and I'm very keen on painting and drawing. So
yes, of course.
That was a big moment, because I sat down and I thought, right, what do I want this garden to look like? We'd got the patio. The builder had put that down for us. We've got a nice 3-meter patio. What can we do? The budget was shot because again, with COVID, all the costs for wood and cement and everything had gone sky high. Shot up.
Oh, no.
So I had £700 left in my pot for the garden.
That was your budget?
That was my budget, yeah.
So that's £700 and you transformed it to what you see now?
Yeah.
That is amazing. That's incredible.
I mean, that is absolutely... Was that mentioned on the show?
No, I don't think it was. No.
But that's a really key piece of information, that you've created just an amazing garden, which looks like a lot more money was spent on it than £700. But the fact that it was only 700 is unbelievable.
I mean, there'll be plant costs will
Sure.
obviously ongoing, but that was the kind of basic. So I had to reuse some old raised beds that had been here, which I was hoping that I could get rid of. But with the help of my two sons, we dragged them around and moved them, and they stayed. So that was 3 pieces of sort of hard landscaping. One of them is quite big. It's about 1.5 meters square.
Right.
And then the brick path, which everybody absolutely loves.
Gorgeous.
I love that.
So what happened, I said to the builder, we had a great builder in the end, and he popped back in one day, and I said, look, Jarek, I've got £700 left. The garden is terrible, but I've had this idea. I've got this plan. What could you do for me for 700 out of these things that I would like to have done? Because I had got quotes from landscaping companies, and they were insane, you know.
Really?
Ooh,
Just not feasible.
Yeah.
No, it's not feasible, and they had very long waiting lists. Anyway, lovely Jarek said, I could do the brick path, I could do a fence and a gate. That was 700. And he said, actually, I'm available 10 days. I can do it. We were now in spring 2023. So I thought, yes.
Let's do this.
Yeah, let's do this. So off we went. And that path was the key to everything.
Yeah. That was kind of the sort of central point that draws your eye, and then you could build everything off that afterwards.
That's right. Yes.
Wow. You went from thinking this house is jinxed to having wonderful Jarek who got you on your way.
Yeah.
And then you just started bringing in the plants. You put in a load of gravel, did you?
Yeah, my sons helped to chip out the concrete before, because Jarek said he'd do it if we could do the prep. So, and the night before we were due to start doing the prep, my husband had tripped over at football and broke his wrist. So it was meant to be the third.
Oh no!
So that was
right now.
Yeah, he's fine. That was the panicked phone call to the sons. Can you come this weekend? I bribed them with roast dinners and homemade cake, and they borrowed an old drill. So we did the sort of prep, chiseled out some of the concrete so that the path could sit in the right place. We mapped out the route with a hose. Took 3 or 4 days to do that. Then Jarek and Piotr came and cemented the bricks in. Then we bought bags of gravel. I'd been to the garden in Essex, Beth Chatto's.
Yes, that's a great source of inspiration.
Yeah, that gravel garden is amazing. So that made me think that will really soften the look. But I hadn't realised that would be a little ecosystem in its own right, but that's another story. But anyway, so we've got the brick path, we got the gravel down, kept some of the old slabs for hard standing for the greenhouse, and just for pots because you don't see them, and black paint on the shed and the fence to make them disappear.
Love the black
paint.
And
then we had the canvas ready.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then the really fun part of putting all the plants in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you mentioned that you got a lot of ideas from people that you interview because you're a freelance journalist.
Yes.
And you sort of specialise in gardening.
Yeah, I mainly write about gardens and heritage now. Yeah.
Right. And how did that come about?
Well, I've been a journalist for over 35 years. It's what I trained to do. And I was working in women's magazines for some years. But I quite quickly went freelance because I do like being my own boss.
Yeah.
And I started to get more commissions for gardens, heritage. I was working a lot for Landscape magazine. And I just found that I loved doing it. You know, it was something that I was interested in.
Yeah,
so my job and my life kind of blurring the boundaries a bit.
Yeah.
And I'd written some things for Garden News magazine, and I live near the HQ of Bauer Media, who publish a lot of gardening magazines, Garden Answers, Garden News and Landscape. And they said they were working on a magazine launch, a gardening magazine launch, and would I like to come in a few days a week and help? And I did, and that magazine was Modern Gardens. And I worked on it for about 9 months before it launched, and then I was made editor of it. So
Wow.
yeah, so
What
that's
fun.
Yeah, so that was a very busy time. I edited it for about 15 months, but I'm not really an office person. I just do like to be my own boss. So I thought, right, that was absolutely amazing, wonderful, but I want to go back to writing about writing, not editing, really. Because that's my great love. So that's what I did. And then so since I left Modern Gardens, I kind of thought, well, I love writing about gardens, so I'm going to try and stick with that. And interestingly, gardening magazines and websites are actually faring better than women's magazines, which I think have been massively, they kind of feel dated, I think, now.
They do, don't they? It's so true. When I was younger, I was really into buying them. It wouldn't even cross my mind now. And you're not interested, are you, Sweet Pea, in buying women's magazines?
No,
not at all.
But the gardening magazines are amazing.
Of course. Yeah.
Surrounded by them.
We have a whole bookshelf of them.
Yeah, and things like Country Living, I do still really enjoy those magazines as a reader and and from a writing point of view. So
why do you think that there has been that switch then from less women's magazines?
It's more wholesome.
Sort of aspiration, and
I think you can get the information probably from other sources. The information that was there, even things like fashion, which was often a core pillar. You probably will. It is much more realistic to find a woman that's the same shape as you on Instagram who's buying kind of clothes from the high street and showing them on her body rather than a model. It doesn't relate to your age or shape at all.
Yes, it's a good point.
So and also the health advice and so on. You Google it, don't you?
So available now.
Yeah.
Dr. Google.
Yeah.
Although Dr. Google can send you into tailspin.
I do avoid.
I've got a headache. Turns out, dying of something.
You've
awful.
got 3 months left.
Yes, entirely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you pursued the gardening side of it, and then haven't you got a column, Fiona's Patch? Do you still?
I've still got a column in Modern Gardens, so my connection with Modern Gardens is still there, and I left with the column, which was nice. So I've been doing that for about 7 years, and people often say to me, how on earth do you find something new to write every month? But I do. It's like a diary.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes, it's. I'm just in the swing of it. I have a blog as well, and it's I don't find it difficult to find things to say. There's always a new plant or something I found at a car boot sale that I'm converting or upcycling. So I've always got ideas.
Yeah, because you've got a website, haven't you? Fiona Cumberpatch.
Yes,
that's
.com,
is it?
.com.
Right.
Yes, that's just a place to kind of store some of the articles I've written, some of my illustrations.
Your illustrations?
Yes.
So you do a lot of watercolours, don't you?
Yes.
Garden and plant-based.
That's right. Well, again, that was a lockdown thing, and that came out of my frustration with waiting for my garden. I started painting all the plants I would like to paint in my garden.
Imagining what it could be like.
I did, and I like a chart, like one of those old-fashioned botanical books, where you have them all sort of laid out on the page.
Yes,
I love those books. I collect them. So I'm doing my own take. Not that I'm equating myself with a botanical illustrator, because I'm not. That mine are quite jolly and impressionistic.
Yeah,
I absolutely love them.
Really colourful.
Really colourful, and because people, I think, were looking for joy, little pockets of joy. I mean, I was posting them on Twitter, and again, I had a huge reaction to them.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'll do something with these. So I found a company that makes tea towels. And I had them printed onto tea towels in a company in Manchester. And I sold hundreds of them.
Oh, brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Do you sell them through your website?
Yeah, I don't have an online shop, as we know. I'm not very techie, but I am going to, and that's next on the list.
How do you sell them, though, if someone wanted to buy one of your
direct.
tea towels?
People just contact me through my website. I have a contact form, or through Instagram. But I do need to formalise it, because it's a bit erratic. And I took some to the garden talk that I just did, and people bought them afterwards, or I do little pop-up sales. I've had an open artist studio for a couple of years running, and I sold them there.
Right, a great idea.
That was quite funny, because I signed up with a local scheme, Artists Open Studios, and this was 2 years ago. And it was the first, so people came and they came downstairs and the kitchen was open and I'd made cakes and the paintings were inside, and then they could go and sit in the garden. I'd got little tables set up with squeezed in. And it became clear to me that people were much more fascinated and interested in the garden than they were in the paintings.
Right.
They loved it. They absolutely, and I thought, wow, there's something about it that's people are relating to.
Yeah.
They wanted to go round with me and talk about every plant and every pot, and it was really lovely.
Yeah.
But I think it was then that I realised that the garden was kind of working out. You never know, do you?
That's your thing.
Yeah.
And is your garden open through anything like the NGS?
No, it wouldn't. I don't think it would be big enough for the NGS.
No. But maybe as part of a cluster. We've heard some who have small gardens, so they're part of 3 or 4 in the close area.
That's true. Yes, I might do my own little pop-up opening and raise money for charity. My own charity. But no, it's lovely to talk about it and think about what you've done and talk about the details and things. And it's the same with Instagram. It's just so positive and wholesome, as you were saying.
Entirely.
It's a lovely thing. I don't think I've had any negative interactions at all.
How can you be negative about that?
Yeah, the downside of social media is, I'm sure there are downsides, but for me, it's been a very positive experience.
That's really good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should have a listen to your dream garden, Fiona. By the sounds of it, you've already drawn it out either in your head or on a piece of paper in the past.
Yes, I do spend a lot of time thinking about it.
Dreaming. So we shall hand you over to Sweet Pea and she'll take you through it.
Great, thank you.
So, for your dream garden, which can be anything you want, what would be the garden boundary, so surrounding your garden?
That's easy. I have an obsession with walled gardens.
Don't
old brick walls, maybe red ones, the warm colours, maybe a little bit crumbly.
Like the bricks on your path, that sort of red brick?
Yes.
Because they're quite warm red, aren't they?
Yes, absolutely. Very drawn to that. And I'd love it if they were clad with a few espaliered apple and pear trees.
Lovely.
That would be, and maybe a few roses there too. So,
nice.
But I just love the look of old brick with plants. I just don't think you can beat it. And
so would you want to be fully surrounded on all
sides?
I
think I would. And I would like to have a gate embedded in the wall. Like the sort of secret garden.
Yes. And what does that go to?
That comes into my garden. I don't know what's on the outside.
Oh, okay. No, I thought it was going to take you into a secret garden. The other side.
No, I think I'm in the walled garden, and but to get into my walled garden, you enter through a little gate in the wall.
Beautiful. How high would your walls be?
High. I'd like that sense of enclosure. Yeah.
Okey-dokey.
Maybe at one end there could be a view over some rolling fields.
Yeah.
But I do quite like that sense that you're entering a world. I've always loved that, the sort of TARDIS thing, the element of surprise. So you open the gate, you're not quite sure what you're going to find, but you're delighted by what's inside.
Completely.
I do love that. Yeah.
It's having that whole little paradise area, which would be lovely to have.
And the security of it as well. It's nice to feel that you can be completely secure in your space.
That's
which
right.
I don't know if everyone has to think about that. I think maybe more for women, perhaps.
Yes, possibly. Yeah.
To feel enclosed.
But I think for anyone having that, like, man has always wanted, mankind, so that's women, men, everyone.
All of us.
I've always wanted to have a space of enclosure. It's why, like, for example, pergolas or stuff like that, even though they're completely open-sided, you feel immediately you're in a little space.
Yeah,
and it's having that slight boundary, just knowing the four sides around you. There's something about it. It's quite psychologically interesting to go into that.
And reassuring, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yes.
Very true.
Yes, absolutely. Enclosure.
In this dream garden, would you like a shed or a greenhouse?
Oh, definitely a greenhouse. Yes. My dream is to have a greenhouse which is big enough to sit inside.
Oh, yes.
A chair, maybe with a blanket, maybe a little stove and a kettle, There
Very
would be.
nice.
I actually like those greenhouses that have soil. I was in one at the weekend. A lady had a lovely setup. So she had 2 strips of soil. So she had a sort of tomato kind of pathway with tomatoes were in the ground.
Oh,
Then
yes.
Yes. So you have an avenue of tomatoes. That's the phrase I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And then you have shelving with scented leaf pelargoniums all along. And I love the Attar of Roses pelargonium and Prince of Orange. When you touch the leaves, you just get this most incredible scent. I have both, but I don't have the greenhouse, but I do have 2 pelargoniums. And they're just beautiful. And you can take cuttings very easily. I've just sort of cracked that one. So I'm very fond of those. So I would be in my little chair in my greenhouse with tomatoes and pelargoniums, and it would probably be painted white or maybe a soft green.
A wooden greenhouse.
I think it would be old bricks with a wooden frame.
Right.
It's something I've painted many times, that scene.
Yeah.
It's one of my popular paintings. I've painted it 5 or 6 times now. This painted wood on a brick base.
But you've painted
I painted it, a picture.
Greenhouse.
A picture.
Oh, really?
Yeah, an oil
From the
painting of
outside
it.
looking at it. Oh, an oil painting.
Yes.
Right. Oh, so
Yes.
you work in various mediums then?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
that's been my most popular one.
What sort of size is the greenhouse?
My
Your
greenhouse.
dream one.
Oh, my dream one. Oh, I think really the best way I can describe it is enough room to comfortably sit and have some long avenues of tomatoes and the shelving. So we're talking, not tiny at all.
No.
You want it rectangular, or do you want?
Yes, rectangular.
Yeah.
Rectangular.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
rectangular.
Beautiful. I really like the idea of having beds in the greenhouse rather than just all in pots. We don't have that, unfortunately. We haven't got the beds, but it would be so good to
Wouldn't
have
it?
that.
You'd get a real ecosystem with that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you could grow some really sort of cracking.
Yeah, vines and things.
Yes.
Grapevines and
and you could have winter salads and just roam through and kind of cut the leaves.
That's a greenhouse.
Major fantasy.
Yeah. In your previous places in the gardens, did you have space for a bigger greenhouse?
Well, that's the ironic thing. We had loads of space for one, and I wasn't as interested. I wasn't, I maintained my garden, but I had a young family. I was working full time, and the garden was fairly, I've always been interested, but I just didn't have time to have what I wanted or to explore it. So that is a bit gutting, really. Mind you, imagine the wrench when I'd left it.
Would you
and come here? So maybe it's better. Maybe it's better that I didn't have one before.
Yeah.
So the town of Stamford is pretty special then.
It is. It's a Georgian town. It's like a little baby Bath.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. It's
enough
it's
to draw
lovely.
you away from that big
Yes,
garden.
and I do love having a station and a cinema and an arts centre.
It's the convenience.
Cafes. I can walk to the station. I can get on the station to Cambridge.
Yeah.
Get on the train to Cambridge and change at Peterborough for London.
Yeah.
I don't have to get the car out at all. I hate driving. So
brilliant.
There's a lot to be said for that. So the right move, and you're managing to get everything into your garden as it is. So it's all worked out.
It's all horses for courses, balancing act, isn't it? Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
What was it that got you first into gardening? That kind of made you go, "Wow, this is brilliant."
Well, I've always loved beautiful things, I suppose. I've always been, since a child, been taken to stately homes and gardens. My grandparents had the most beautiful, again, small garden, a very modest house in Northampton. But my grandfather, his father was the chrysanthemum expert, but he was also a very talented grower. Again, you went through a little gate in one of those kind of cobbled lanes and you stepped into their garden.
Yes.
And it was immaculate. And it had, I remember, dahlias with no holes in the leaves, just standing up really upright.
Perfect.
And a Victoria plum tree, which in my imagination now is always full of rosy golden plums.
Wow.
And little deck chairs set out, and it was of course it was always sunny. I think that, and they also had a wonderful allotment. I think that just planted the seeds, and I've I've always been drawn to gardens, and then slowly realised that I could have my own.
Yeah.
Getting through that barrier, isn't it, of thinking, well, I don't know enough. I couldn't do that. But of course you can. Everyone can. You don't have to have RHS qualifications to grow a tomato.
No.
You can just get on with it. And if something doesn't work, I've come to that realisation. It doesn't matter. Give it a go. I'll see something that I love. I'll try it. Sometimes it doesn't work because I haven't got the right conditions. Sometimes it does, or surpasses my expectations.
Yeah. That's so true, and that's been a common theme with people we've spoken to is, just give it a go, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, try something else, and basically trying not to be intimidated by it, because it doesn't need
not to be intimidated. And I think sometimes in the gardening world it can be a bit daunting, because obviously there are so many incredibly knowledgeable and wonderful people,
and gardens which are immaculate and perfectly kept.
Yes, exactly. But anyone can have a garden, and I love allotments for that reason as well, because it embraces everybody. So I think it's always been there somehow in the background.
Have your sons had any interest in gardening?
Yes, they are interested, and they've obviously, one of them lives in London and has a minuscule garden, but he is interested in it. And I think definitely because he loves my garden here, he's definitely becoming, I get lots of little WhatsApp messages. Mum, shall I prune my hydrangea now? And I'm like, no, don't touch it,
Do not touch it.
Oh, lovely.
Well, he's got the best inspiration for you. So
we've both got really small gardens, and again, I see that. I see people in young people in starter homes, people in new builds that have a really small space, and that is important to me, that everyone knows that please don't put down plastic grass. No. Do something, grow something, and my younger son now, he's getting interested. He's got some strawberry plants in the garden, my garden at the moment.
Oh.
Perfect.
So it's continuing down the generations.
Yeah, I hope so.
What would be 5 ornamentals that you'd like in your dream garden?
Right, this is very difficult.
It is so hard.
I have many ornamentals in my garden. Dahlias have got to be there. I don't know if you want me to pick one, but
What's your favourite one?
My favourite one? Well, the thing is, I like the look of a higgledy-piggledy dahlia patch. It could be a big one or a small one, where you've got all the different shapes and colours, kind of like you see them in allotments.
That's
so I'm
cool.
going to give you some examples of ones I would have.
Nice.
I would always have Arabian Night, which is a very dark dahlia. I grew that in a dustbin last year.
Oh, okay.
And one tuber in a dustbin gave me armfuls, I'm not exaggerating, armfuls of flowers. The slugs didn't climb it, couldn't climb. I don't know if they couldn't climb the dustbin. Everything else, we had a lot of slug damage last year, like everyone. But no, they didn't touch them, and they were absolutely beautiful. Perfect. Another dark dahlia is Karma Choc. I haven't grown that one, but a friend of mine who's a brilliant grower, she swears by that. And it's that same dramatic, dark purple, almost black.
Is the other one a purple colour as well?
Yeah, both very dark. Almost, very, very dramatic.
Love those ones.
Are they pom-pom dahlias? Or
no, they're not. They're not a really shaggy one, but they're not a pom-pom.
No.
I do like the starfish honker dahlias.
Yes.
Yeah. So honker pink, that's a nice one.
Yeah.
That's a nice one to put with the dark, because if they're sharing a container, they bring out the best in each other.
In this dustbin, you just had the one tuber though.
Yeah, I had one tuber. Around the edge, I had a salvia also and some crocosmia. So I had a real fireworks. I had the orange crocosmia.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it was definitely the depth of the dustbin that was the key, because you get so many nutrients in there.
Was it entirely full of soil?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, what I do now is I've adopted an element of permaculture, which is actually a way of saving money on compost, which is the Hügelkultur method of raised bed. So I put some logs and some cardboard to start off. So then you're already sort of a third at least full, maybe a bit more. Garden cuttings, anything that I can find, maybe some old compost from previous pots just to sort of bulk it up. And then some John Innes, number 3, some homemade compost, because I have got a little compost heap in my parking lot, all mixed together with a couple of bags of multi-purpose as well.
Yeah.
And lots of watering.
So about a third of the Hügelkultur with the logs and things?
About a third.
And 2/3 of compost?
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe half. I'm not, it's not a precise art, but I mix it all up. Yeah.
That worked really well.
Yeah, really well. And obviously holes drilled in the dustbin. Yeah. Everyone always asks me, do you have to drill holes? Yes. You know that. I'm just saying, because it is my most asked question.
Really?
Yeah.
We did Hügelkultur in our new veg beds, didn't we?
We did.
Did you?
Yeah.
Largely because we had seen that Hügelkultur is very successful, and also to deal with trying to fill an enormous space and not having a huge amount of compost.
Yes, absolutely.
And it worked well.
Did it work well for you? Yeah.
Because your garden is full of pots, what is a number one top tip that you'd have for people who are using containers in their garden? How to look after the plants?
Yes, well, watering is key, and obviously it's not a very sustainable choice at the moment. We're all wanting to conserve water, so I suppose choosing plants that are that they'll survive. I mean, that's not always possible because every plant needs water in a pot. And I go for perennials where I can, or the bedding and annuals. I do love them, but the sort of core is perennials, that just to keep your costs down, and I think they survive more. And use the biggest pot you can fit in. Tiny pots, they don't look nice and they're just impractical. You're just going to be out there watering all the time, which you don't want to be doing. Okay. I'm actually at the moment trying to get rid of some smaller pots and go towards larger ones, because I actually, both, as I say, both from a sustainability point of view and a visual point of view, it just looks better. So.
With feeding and watering, how do you do that throughout the summer, for example?
Weekly, mostly through the summer. Maybe with the dahlias and sweet peas, or anything that's very packed in, because I do like to ram my pots with flowers. Maybe every 5 days for those in peak summer.
That's for the feeding?
Yeah.
Or watering as well?
Both. Yeah.
Really? So not as often as I would imagine.
No.
With watering, it depends. Well, it depends. If there's a very hot spell, I'll do every other day.
Right.
Okay.
And also, for example, we've had a very dry April, haven't we? And start to May. So I have been watering already for about 3 weeks. Not every other day, but I have been keeping an eye on them.
Yeah.
Particularly the trees in pots.
Crikey. Then what are your other four ornamentals?
Other four. Right. Nepeta, catmint. Yes. Now, this is just so useful, particularly in a pot garden. It's very unifying. I use it for underplanting. I use it in some long raised beds. So I've got quite a bit of it. So when you look out, you've got and I love that misty blue colour.
It's great.
It's just gorgeous, isn't it? And you can get the different sizes. So Walker's Low is smaller. Six Hills Giant is a really, really bushy one. And I like it with roses. I like it with so many things. And it's so reliable. It just comes back. It always comes back. Every winter.
You don't have to do anything with it, do you?
No, nothing.
We don't do anything with ours.
Just cut it back and back again.
Do the Chelsea chop. Because it's already. I noticed this morning it's already getting a bit large. It needs to be cut back already. But it billows, and it's not solid, so you're sort of semi-transparent. And with it, again, with a small garden, I want the mass look, but I don't want blocks, because I want to sort of see through.
Yes,
so that's another one.
Do you do a lot of repetition through your garden?
There is probably with colour, because I tend to stick to quite a hot colour palette, so oranges, blues, purples. But I'd say the main plant repetition is the Nepeta. That's my sort of knitter together.
And do you split it to put around the garden?
No, I haven't actually. That's not something I've done. I mean, I don't really have the room to. I've kind of got
Right,
no
yeah.
more room. Nowhere to go.
There's always room, Fiona.
There is always room.
Somehow we always find another little gap.
We do, don't we? Yes, even here. Geums are another.
Oh,
Of
love
my
those.
number 3.
Yes.
Totally Tangerine.
Of course.
Mrs. Bradshaw is a very orange one. Totally Tangerine is a little bit more subtle. Mai Tai is even more sort of washed, kind of apricot, and Pink Petticoats is nice and fluffy.
Ah, okay.
I like them because they start flowering. Well, I've got them out now, and they will go on to October, November, so long as you deadhead. And I just think they're gorgeous. They're very upright. They don't need staking, and they thrive in pots. So, and I can see I've got 2 plants, and they've come back, and they're in fine fettle.
They're low maintenance, aren't they?
They're very low maintenance.
And like you say, you've got a long flowering period if you're deadhead, and they do start so early. Ours are out now, and they're one of the first main ones that we have after all the bulbs.
Yeah.
Absolutely
And so
good.
many colour choices as well.
So many colour choices, and you can pair them with different things.
Yeah.
So they're definitely a must. Now, I'm going to throw in an annual, a
Okey-dokes.
Thunbergia Black-Eyed Susie.
Ah.
Now, I discovered this by accident, really, last year. I was in Lidl, and they had their Thursday delivery, which I quite like to go and check out. And I thought, oh, that's a nice colour. It was a sort of burnt orange. It was a climber. And it was too late to sow the seed. So I brought it home and I put it in a dolly tub with cosmos and my geums. And it just went ballistic. It grew up,
Brilliant.
it grew out,
Wow.
it marched towards the house. I was
It's like, I am coming inside.
Knocked on the bifold doors.
Yes,
Excuse me, coming in.
Oh, and the colour, I got it was a very sort of dark orange. Funnily enough, I
lovely.
put another one in a small pot, and that did nothing. But they wanted the deep compost, the long pot, and I had it on a wigwam of sticks that I got from the woods, and it was just a joy. So another one arrived yesterday. I mail ordered one this time. I thought I can't rely on Lidl because you never know what they're going to put out.
Yeah.
So that's there.
Brilliant.
And then number 5, ornamental grass. Now that was very difficult to choose one, but I do love Haconocloa macra.
Which one's that?
Yes, that is a Japanese. That's its common name. It's a Japanese something, but it's a lime green sort of fountain. Very, very swishy, very tactile. Everybody who goes past it puts their hand
Strokes
through
it. Yeah.
Yes.
Is it tall?
It isn't. It can get quite big, but it's not like a miscanthus. It's not a lofty one. It's more of a whoosh.
Yeah.
Again, it was talking to somebody for Garden News who recommended it. And then you do find, because I always ask for Garden News, people's top 5 plants, and it's one that comes up over and over again. It's interesting.
Okay.
It doesn't do much in the winter. You think it's dead. So that's the only thing. It does go very brown and sad.
It's
But
not the
honestly,
ponytail grass that we have.
No, that's a
different.
steeper.
Oh, yes, a
Tenuissima,
steeper.
which I do also have. I do
Yeah.
love a grass.
Yeah.
I like the texture. And as I say, this is not necessarily the most practical one, but if you're asking me my sort of favourite just in the moment, it is this one because it's
when you say it's not practical because it doesn't look good in the winter, or how do you mean?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, so like with a miscanthus, I always think that looks quite nice in the winter because you've got the seed heads, the frost catches it, it stays quite upright. Haconocloa does really die back.
Okay.
It's not a lot there, but a miscanthus I think would be a close second, but I think that has got to be my top.
I do actually remember this grass because I remember looking up and it's also called a haycone grass.
Right.
And I remember seeing it in this garden that was on Gardener's World, and Arit went to see it, and it was this little back garden, not little, it was rather big actually, this back garden, and it was all greens, just lots of green colours, and there was this whole wall of this Haconocloa grass. and I thought it was this beautiful, the limey yellowy green,
is.
and it just looked perfect. So I can actually, I do know what that
Yes,
is.
and I
Sounds lovely.
agree with you. Lining a path, it would be absolutely awesome if you could have it on either
Yes.
side. Or I've seen it in grand gardens in a big pot, sort of at the end of an avenue, with this
yeah.
great big
Fountain.
structure. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, fountain of beautiful green.
Yes, absolutely. Very restful. Yeah.
What would be 5 edible plants in your dream garden?
5 edibles would be, number 1 would be rainbow chard.
I love that.
Isn't it great? It's just so amazing. I'll have to say, in a very shallow way, it is for the look of it. I mean, I do cook with it occasionally, but it's the vivid stems. It's the
They're
yellows.
incredible. You wouldn't believe it if you
Something
didn't
else.
see it.
Exactly. I mean, I'm always drawn to it at the market. I just go and have a look at it.
Such depth of colour in those
Such
stems. I remember when we planted it, and I didn't think much of it after planting, and then did a double take when I saw them coming up in their bed. The yellows, the reds, the purples. It was just sensational.
Sensational. And
we actually spoke to somebody on a Chit-Chat, and he recommended a recipe for it, which we tried last night.
Oh, we did?
With the rainbow chard.
Yes.
It's a Nigella recipe, and it doesn't look like much. When you're cooking it, you think, I don't know why he made a fuss of this. It doesn't look like much.
Yeah.
And it was sensational.
Oh,
really,
so
really good
good.
recipe. So
brilliant.
we can send that to you if you're interested.
Oh, I would like to have that. And I think, is it Arthur Parkinson? I think somebody uses it in arrangements,
He
because
does,
it is,
Yes.
which is always, I'm always looking for
That
that as well, because I like cutting flowers. And it's very lovely to paint. I've done loads of paintings of it. I just love that colour palette. So so that's definitely number 1. Number 2 would be tomatoes. Now, in a way, I find them a complete pain.
Oh, really?
Yes, because I don't have a big greenhouse, so I can't put them in there. Or I did once put them in there, and they just took over the whole thing. Well, they need loads of watering. They get blight. I think they're very needy plants, but I just don't think you can be picking and eating
It's the best
fresh
thing ever.
tomato.
And the
But I
smell of the
have-
leaves as well.
Oh, just the leaves. It's the same as the pelargoniums, isn't it? But I have found a way to grow them in my garden, which is a tumbling Tom, one tumbling Tom in a wall planter with pelargoniums.
Yeah.
So
okay.
the two together, it seems to sort of snuggle down with the pelargoniums quite nicely.
Oh, lovely.
And they look beautiful. And I got a kilo last year. I weighed I was very geeky, and I got a kilo of cherry tomatoes from it.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
What do you do with your tomatoes?
Well, I almost had a glut. So if I don't eat them raw, I made tomato and feta fritters, which was a delicious Diana Henry recipe.
Oh my gosh, I'm writing that down.
That sounds
Tomato
amazing.
and feta fritters. They were beautiful. So I'd do that again.
Yeah.
That sounds right up our street.
It does. We need to try that when we get out.
We do. Yeah.
Strawberries. I
of course.
love the flavour of a sun-warmed strawberry. They're wonderful for pots. Again, they look lovely. They taste lovely. The only thing is beating the slugs to them.
Right.
Oh, okay.
But I've had quite good success with them. But I just think that it's not particularly practical to grow them. You don't get loads, but it's just that joy of seeing them.
And they look pretty as well. I like
Pretty.
strawberry plants when they're sort of
They do.
tumbling down from pots.
They're lovely. I find them quite fascinating, the runners and how they work.
Very intricate.
Yeah, it's nice. Now, a new discovery is lovage. That's
okay.
Oh, right.
I've heard it, but I never thought about growing it.
Well, and I say new because it was only last week that I went to a garden, and the gardener was a very keen cook, and she said, "You must try lovage," and it's absolutely gorgeous. And I made it into a soup with potatoes and leeks, and it's like celery leaves, but with a touch of aniseed. It's almost aromatic, but there's just something about it. And it's a lovely big plant. It looks a bit like a flat leaf parsley, maybe. So I haven't grown it, but I've literally ordered the seeds because I tasted it and I thought I've got to have this in my life. So
Where were you finding it? At the supermarket?
this was this garden that I went to see last week, and the gardener had a little kitchen garden. She runs a community kitchen, so she makes loads of soup and so on. And she said I wouldn't be without this because it goes into a lot of the soups that I'm making for the mostly elderly people. And she said, if it was her go-to herb. So I thought.
So did she give you a handful?
She did. Gave me
Lovely.
a huge bunch. So I've been cooking with it the weekend.
Oh,
so
nice.
that's a newcomer. And then finally, it's cucumbers. They fit my small scale garden. They're so crisp and sweet. The mini ones.
So how do you have them? Because they they grow quite tall, don't they?
Well, the ones I've got seems to be they're mini ones, and I buy them. Yes, they don't. They're sort of, what are they? They're about 20 to 30 centimetres at most.
Oh, okay.
And you get the little cucumbers, just about 10 centimetres long, maybe.
Are they quite productive in your greenhouse?
Yes, they are. Yeah.
How many cucumbers are you getting in a plant?
How many did I get last year? Well, I say productive. I mean, 5 or 6.
That
was quite good. Yeah.
Well, that's good though.
Yeah.
For a little 20, 30 centimetres.
I thought so. Yeah. They kept coming.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So
do you know what type of cucumber they were?
I don't. I can let you know. I must admit that I don't grow them from seed. I buy them from my local market nursery stall on the market, and
that's brilliant.
I just think I'm about £1 or something, and I think that's quite a good return
for sure for 5 cucumbers.
yeah.
Do you have any specific online shops for seeds or plant nurseries that you go to that you think are brilliant?
Yes, I like Chiltern Seeds. There's a newer one called Stocks and Green. They have some beautiful flowers and a very lovely catalogue, a lovely way of displaying them. Premier Seeds Direct are very cheap. So I'll sort of shop around. I'm not particularly loyal to one, but those 3 I probably use more than any other.
And then Lidl,
of course. Plant. I think of the supermarkets, Lidl has the best selection.
Yeah.
Morrison's is close second, but I think Lidl has a slightly, that whoever's doing the buying and selecting
has
got a really great eye. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okey-dokes. We're going to be going to Lidl then.
Yes. Every Thursday.
Every Thursday.
And there's a plant drop.
What would be the one statement tree in your garden?
Okay, right. Well, I'm going to just clarify. So this is for a small garden. I'm going to do 2. I'll tell you a small garden and a large garden. So a small garden like mine, 12 by 5, I don't want it dominated by a tree. Some people do, and that's great. It can look really effective. I like mine to be part of the mix, and I'm going for a crab apple.
Oh, lovely.
I'm going for my red sentinel, which I got last year. It is tall but skinny, so it's space saving. Happy in a pot. You get quite early blossom, mid-April. Beautiful. This year was stunning, as probably your blossom this year has been amazing.
Isn't it?
Yes, it has been great.
It's really been good. And the crab apples, they start off sort of like a flushed green, but they then go bright scarlet. They look like sort of apples in a fairy story.
Oh, wow.
Tiny, and absolutely loads of them clustered. And they stay on the tree. And they stayed on the tree all winter. I thought, well, the birds are going to come and have these, but they didn't. I don't know if they were too hard. So in late March, I still had this sort of skein of scarlet apples in a rather brown and dowdy looking garden. So it's got, although it's deciduous, it has got multi-seasonal appeal because of little this. And then what I did was I picked, by late March when the blossom was starting to come, I took them off, but I dropped them into the soil around the base of the tree. They softened and the blackbirds came and they did eat them eventually. So I thought that was really nice. Yeah.
How big's the pot that you've got this in?
That is one of my bigger ones. It's about 1/2 metre across, perhaps a little bit more. As big as I can get.
Yes. And it survives quite happily in there.
Well, I'm on my 2nd year.
Yeah.
So I've been told, I got it from a nursery called Frank Matthews, and I asked them, this is what I've got. Realistically, it's not going to go in the ground. What would you recommend? And that was what they came up with. And it's a beautiful little tree.
And you feed that?
Yes, very much so. Feed it,
What
replace. Well, that's a good question. I'm using a mix, a tree feed. So I'd have to look at the ingredients. I'm not actually sure what it's got in it. One of those shrub and tree feeds, and also gave it some bloodfish and bone around the base. Very early spring. It was the beginning of March. I scraped off the top layers of compost, put some more Frankinus #3 on, and the bloodfish and bone around it. So I'm just hoping that'll be enough.
I always sound surprised when someone tells me that they're growing a tree successfully in a pot, and then I have to remind myself that, of course, bonsai trees are essentially the same thing, and they will do fine in the space that they're allowed to grow.
Exactly. Well, if you haven't got an alternative, then you're going to give it a go, I think. If I had a huge garden, a real whopper of a garden, I would have a dream garden. I would have a Magnolia grandiflora.
Oh, lovely.
Which are stunning. Unlike other magnolias, they flower in summer. And they have these huge 25 centimetre wide cup-shaped flowers. I think there's something sort of primeval about magnolias. They've been around, haven't they, since the dinosaurs?
Prehistoric.
And these trees are evergreen as well. So that's really good. So yes, if I had a small stately home and I was looking for a statement tree,
I'm on the same page. I absolutely love magnolias. I talk about this a lot on these chats, so I shouldn't go on about it. But I dream of having one, but we haven't got the right soil.
Right.
No. So love one.
Yeah. They are very special.
Well then, would you like a pond or a pool in your dream garden, and what plant would you have in that area?
So I'd have a pool. I'd have one of those wild swimming pools. And again, again, I visited an amazing one last year in Leicestershire. It was on a farm, and they'd had it constructed and sort of sunk into a beautiful kind of fold and it was quite rolling in Leicestershire, and it was just so beautiful. She'd fringed it with grasses, and she had little oak decks positioned around it.
Oh, amazing.
She starts her day with a swim.
Is that a private home?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, what a day. Can you imagine just going for a swim, getting out, going, oh, this is a great way to start the day.
I know.
It'd be incredible. How big was it?
It was big. It was almost like a sort of miniature lake. It was. There's a company that makes them for you. To your specifications. A company in Norfolk, I think it is. And it really was super special. I have seen others as well through work. So I'm only asking for a modest one.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'd love that swimming through, so you could just see grass and reeds, and again it's that sense of immersion that we've been talking about, isn't it?
I love the idea of it being built into the landscape as well, to fit with that rolling hills.
That's right. Yes. So it actually does look natural.
That was always there.
Yeah.
Would yours be like that as well, or would you have a bit more formality to it?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't have no, that's probably separate to the walled garden. It wouldn't be formal.
Oh, have we gone to another garden?
We can have two gardens.
We got an annex. No, we'd have.
This is through that gate. That is
it's through the gate.
That's
what's through the gate. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. And a plant that I'd have around it would be candelabra primulas.
Yes, I love these so much.
They're amazing, aren't they?
Really amazing. So those
swathes of it.
Swathes of it. And they're sort of tutti fruity colours, aren't they? But in a very different way.
Well, they're all hybridising, aren't they? So they pick up all the different colours, but related.
Different colours. So they look quite otherworldly, but they've got the colours that I always crave. So
and they like it damp as well, don't they?
They do. They're not actual marginals, are they? They're sort of, but they're moist soil.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I couldn't think of a marginal because I thought about irises, and then apparently they're hideously invasive, aren't
Apparently, yeah.
It can be, yeah.
they? So I do love irises, but no, we'll
Yeah,
go
they're
for
gorgeous.
a candelabra.
I like the
primula.
candelabra primula.
Yeah.
I saw them properly in those swathes on A Gardener's World last
The one
year
with
or the year before.
Francis.
With Francis. He had these swathes of candelabras, primulas, and they were all in the pinks and purples and all
Next to
blending
little
together, and he had
streams.
streams running through, and yeah, it was so romantic. That was the first time I'd seen them like that.
Yeah.
So immediately, of course, thought, right, I want those in our garden, but we're too dry, so there was no chance.
Yeah.
We are free draining.
Free draining.
Yeah, no good at all.
I think there was some used in a Chelsea garden last year, and they're always a bit improbable, the gardens, but I did think, oh no,
Fancy.
I do love them.
Yeah.
Really beautiful.
It's nice to fantasize as well about
It is, absolutely.
That is the problem with show gardens. When even just looking at them on your TV when they are shown on Gardener's World, you're looking at them and going, that is just perfect.
Yeah.
And then you go, wait, can I actually do that?
No.
No.
Impossible.
No chance.
That's true, although I do credit seeing show gardens with also helping me to realise I could do something special in a very small space.
Yeah,
because although I do exactly like you say, I'm fully aware that they are a little fantasy, just there to sort of enjoy and titivate you. But the actual concept of the space I found very useful, and you can take away little ideas. I take a picture
That's a good point.
of things that work for me, and so long as you don't have kind of wild expectations, although I actually don't think there's anything wrong with having wildly imaginative expectations. I think it's actually quite a good thing. So
you just got to go for it.
Yes. I mean, it's when annoys me a little bit when people sort of criticize the shows for being elite and not realistic, but they're there as a dream, aren't they? They're there to sort of delight you, to think,
takes you to another world.
Exactly. Oh, maybe I could have a little patch that looks like that with those 3 plants. I could do that. I might not, I won't have this whole thing.
I think it would be quite disappointing if you turned up at a show like that and it just had fairly mediocre gardens. If it had something like mine, you are going to be in awe of it. It's a bit like we were talking about fashion magazines earlier. Fashion, it's easy to dismiss London Fashion Week and Paris Fashion Week and all that as absolutely absurd. A lot of it is, but you go to see it to really be in awe and to go, wow. Not that you would ever wear any of those outfits, but then high street chains will take ideas from those fashion houses, so that colour combination or that collar or whatever. I'm not a fashionista, and then use it to
That's very true.
For us lay people, where it's a bit more reachable.
Yes, absolutely. It is inspiring. It is. You come away quite fired up, and
it's good to have the extremes.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, talking about extremes and this amazing dream garden of yours, what would be the perfect seating area and drink to have there? And you get one last plant for that area as well.
So I'm going to go for actually not seating as much as lying. I'm going to have a hammock. I'm going to have a hammock strung between 2 old apple trees. They probably have to be quite sturdy. And there would be some honeysuckle climbing over the apple tree. I do love a honeysuckle. I like the flushed golden pink ones, and I love the fragrance. I like to sort of swing in the hammocks gently, and I would be cradling a Kia Royale.
A Kia Royale.
A Kia Royale.
Very sophisticated.
Yes, going back to the 80s. It's an 80s drink, really, but I love blackcurrants. I do grow blackcurrants, so I love blackcurrant liqueur, which is obviously in the Kia, and
champagne.
Yeah, so I've got a very productive blackcurrant bush in the garden.
Oh, good.
Just lovely taste. So that kind of sums up lots of my passions: the hammock, the blackcurrants, the honeysuckle, and the Kia.
Beautiful. What kind of hammock do you have in your garden?
Don't have any hammock here. I did have one in my last garden. It was just a nice big chunky kind of ropey one, canvas.
So canvas rather than string type.
Canvas. Yeah.
And the shade of your apple trees.
Oh, lovely.
And then the fragrance from your honeysuckle and a Kia Royale.
Yeah.
Sounds blissful.
Yeah.
Do you make
PB.
homemade Kir Royales with your...
No, at the moment I have to buy cassis from Waitrose. But wouldn't that be the dream, to make cassis with my own blackcurrants? I have actually got the instructions.
Have you?
Yes. Once a carpenter came, and he was a very keen gardener, and we got to talking about blackcurrants and blackcurrant bushes, and he got very excited and came round with a recipe for cassis and exactly how I should be
Wow.
pruning the blackcurrant. See, it's this bond that gardening
brilliant.
gives you with people,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't even think it would be doable. I just imagine it's something's got to be done in some big liqueur making plant.
Yeah.
No, I think it's possible. Absolutely possible.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Wow.
That
Are
is
you tempted
something.
to make that?
Oh, I am. Yeah, I don't get anywhere near enough blackcurrants from my bush. And they're actually quite hard to find to buy. I need to find somebody with a nice little soft fruit garden
Yeah.
to give me a few kilos, and I'll have a go. I'd definitely like to have a go.
We should maybe give the blackcurrant bush as an honourable mention in Fiona's garden, Sweet Pea.
I think so. Honourable mention
So
to that.
she can make
Yeah.
a liqueur.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I am actually now going to read you back your dream garden, just in case you've missed anything out.
Okay.
Or if you think, oh, crikey.
Yeah.
Right. So, your garden boundary, we had high walls. We wanted it in old brick, very warm, slightly crumbly, but to give that nice kind of entirely circumferenced area of wall, just nice and enclosed. And you had espaliered apples and pears and roses up there. And it was going to be with a little secret garden gate coming in. Then you wanted a big greenhouse with a stove and a kettle inside, a chair and a blanket to sit down, with strips of soil, this kind of avenue of tomatoes, and shelving with pelargoniums above. And you were going to have a little brick wall, and then it was going to be in white or a soft green wooden frame. Then, 5 ornamentals, we had dahlias. There was Arabian Night, Karmachok, and Honka Pink. Nepeta, Geums, Totally Tangerine, Mrs. Bradshaw, Mai Tai, and Pink Petticoat. We had Tumbergia, Black-Eyed Susie, and ornamental grasses like Hakanaklo and Macra. Then your 5 edibles, we had rainbow chard, tomatoes, tumbling tom, strawberries, lovage, and mini cucumbers. Then your statement tree, we had 2 because we were going for one for a small garden, one for a big garden. For a small garden was the crab apple, the red sentinel, and for the big garden it was going to be magnolia grandifolia. And then you were going to have a wild swimming pool with candelabra primulas around it. It was going to be a modest size, maybe with some grasses and some reeds, and separate from the garden, so through that little secret gate. And finally, you were going to be swinging in a hammock, a nice canvas one, strung between 2 old apple trees, with a honeysuckle climbing up, and drinking a Kir Royale, and an honourable mention to blackcurrant bush.
Take me there.
How does that sound?
I absolutely love it. And I think also this could be a garden that could be at Chelsea or at RHS. I could see it being one of those gardens where you go to it and
Fancy
go,
garden.
yes, I would take that idea
Yes.
and that idea.
Yes.
Well, we better get
Exactly.
bricklaying.
I think so.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Fiona. That's been absolutely fantastic.
Oh, I hope it's okay. I hope I haven't rambled on too much.
Oh, no,
It
absolutely
was
loved
brilliant.
it. That's been a good old chit chat with Fiona.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.